working summer jobs, teenagers' bank accounts are getting bigger, but so is the temptation to spend. Joining us now is Dr. Khadija Booth Watkins, a psychiatrist and the Associate Director of the Clay Center for Young Healthy Minds at Mass General Hospital. Always great to see you, Doctor.
Hey, Doctor, it's great to see you. Happy Thursday. So, as you have told us before, you do think that kids should get jobs. So, what can they learn from having that job and then earning the paycheck?
So there's tons of things that they can learn from having a job. They can learn how to be responsible, get up on time, how to navigate conflicts interpersonally with their coworkers. But specifically from earning a check, there's so much value being taught here. They're learning the value of the dollar. They're learning how to be financially responsible. They're learning about taxes, how to manage a bank account, and hopefully they're learning how to strike a balance between saving, spending, and investing. And I think what many of us as parents are hoping that they learn, that there's no fairy that comes down and waves a wand and refills these coffers.
And they're learning what things cost, too.
Oh, it's expensive.
How hard they have to work, get the money to be able to buy what they want to buy.
Right. So true. All right, I can't believe this, but we are halfway through the summer.
I know, right?
Do parents right now, or do parents even do this, can they ask their kids, how much have you saved?
I mean, absolutely, you can ask your kids how much have they saved. It's going to be impossible to teach them if you're not kind of following along with them with respect to how much they're making, how much they're saving, how much they're spending. We really should be using this as teachable moments to teach them how to be financially responsible. We want to teach them about how to set goals, how to save, how to spend, and how to invest. And we can't have this conversation if we're not kind of following along with them. But most importantly, we really want to try to have these conversations before they start working. But again, as they start to work, go with them, open a bank account, and really talk them through a lot of these processes so they can develop good habits.
So money can be a delicate subject. So in your opinion, is it ever appropriate for a parent to borrow money from their teenager or maybe ask them to pay one of the household bills?
I mean, this is a family decision, and I wouldn't say, okay or not okay. Every family has different finances and different financial burdens. And with this world changing so fast, before our eyes, families are finding their statuses, dramatically different. And so I think it's a family choice. But what I can say is when we do have these conversations, if we do need to borrow or ask them to contribute, it should be a transparent conversation. We should have a conversation about, our family's finances.
Right.
We should have these conversations. So again, so they understand the reason for the ask, they understand what our family values are, but also they understand, we're modeling for them how to manage money, or maybe some of the mistakes we made along the way as to why we now need to borrow money from them or ask for them to contribute. But also, we want to make it collaborative because there's so many ways to contribute to the family that's not just financial.
You can use it as a learning point almost, yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. We appreciate you.
Thank you.